houses for 21, 22 years. And 14 years ago, I started in the corporate relocation market. So I've been dealing with corporate clients and international clients for the last 14 years, pretty much now. So I started selling houses. Now we've been finding renting houses for people. I've been a landlord since 1999, so I know what it's like to talk to a landlord. I've been a tenant since 2011, and I've also run a lettings and property management department. So I can see every part of the referencing procedure, etc., etc. I can hopefully answer most questions of something that a tenant would have, a landlord would have, anybody else would have, contractors, the referencing company, etc., etc. Just to try and smooth things over, because like all these things, I've been walking around houses and dealing with the properties for 35 years. It's a long time. You pick up a lot of experience, obviously, and sometimes it's what you say or not what you say, or how you say it, when you say it. So there's lots of techniques to everything, whether you're a painter, accountant, pilot, or whatever. There's lots and lots of different things. So that's me for now, and I'll pass you across to Andrew.
Hi everyone, thank you again. Yeah, thanks for the taking the time out to join the webinar. It's much appreciated. Myself, we're a little bit younger than Mark, should I say. Started to get involved in property in 2004, mainly through inheritance money. We bought a property, and then I've always had an interest in property. Started working for a large relocation company, helping people, families with pets from all over the world relocating to Manchester in the Northwest. And I went on to do a master's degree in property development as well in 2010, part-time, whilst working alongside relocating people. 2013, we left the large corporate market, and we're a small team now, a lot more personal. Well, we like to think a lot more hands-on with the clients, so it's a bit more of a personal service. And again, we've kind of gone from strength to strength, helped people from all over the world, built some great relationships with agents, got a good network, good experience. Again, it's kind of, you learn as you go through the years of working in what to say, what not to say, how to get viewings, how to get viewings when you want, so you can view on your terms rather than the agent's terms. And yeah, it's been going well, very busy, as the statistics will show shortly. We wanted to touch on the stats because both myself and Mark, and North, Mark South, on the briefing calls, we always get asked, why is property going so quickly, or why can I not get viewings? Rightmove and Zoopla are our two main property portals. They do monthly statistics kind of every month. So I've got the full documents, or if you want to request the full documents, just put it in the chat, or we'll put it in the email following this. Just some of the rental ones, we've kind of picked out the rental demand in Q3, highest level in 13 years. So in effect, for every one property, there is about 50 to 60 calls for it, 10 to 20 viewings, and about 6 applications. So you're in a bit of a position where you're trying to compete with 5 or 6 other people in the north. I believe that's similar in the south, Mark. Is that correct?
Sorry, I'm literally just trying to get somebody into the meeting.
Okay.
I'm not being rude.
No worries. And then rental demand is going to remain quite high. Basically, what's happened over the last 4 years is the government have incrementally increased taxes on landlords. So landlords have opted to sell. So there's less coming to the market. But on the plus side, there is first-time buyer incentives for people looking to buy. So it's quite interesting looking at the data, because then you understand the speed of the market and kind of why everything is happening as it is currently. So don't be disheartened if you're making calls and struggling to get through to agents. That's the reason why. And that's one of the reasons why we're here, because we go through the same pain, but that's our full-time job. So I made 80 phone calls, I think, for one client to get 3 viewings. They did have a cat and a dog, so it shortened the market, but it just shows that we do a lot of work in the background, should we say. Do you want to touch on that, Mark?
I was going to just follow on to it from the pet sort of, reviews there as well, but definitely the shortage of the market is a lot of what happened last year was with the stamp duty. When you bought a house last year, the government had incentives. If you bought by end of June and then tapered down by the end of September, there was a big saving. So lots of landlords pulled their rental properties from the stock or inventory of rental properties, sold it. People aren't investing in properties because of the taxes, the non-tax breaks now for landlords to do that. They're getting paid an extra 3% having to pay for it. So it's more expensive for them. It's not as tax efficient for them. So there's just less and less stock. There's more people coming to work in England, working locally, taking their first properties, coming away from mum and dad, separating, needing two houses then as well. So it's affecting so many people, and the shortage has just got worse and worse and worse. And with COVID, it's exacerbated basically. So, but yeah, as Andrew says, a lot of what we do is in the background. These phone calls we can make are just incredible. And following on from my review there with Michelle. So Michelle was one of my favorite clients last year, and I tell everybody the same story because it's true. As you read the review, she said to me, "Oh, don't forget, we have 7 indoor cats as well." Like, okay, how many numbers do you have? You have 7. Like, oh wow, okay, that's gonna be a tough one. It's a tough one. So I found a house within 2 weeks, which sounds quite quick. It wasn't quick, but as you said, Andrew, we're making 20, 30, 40 phone calls in a day sometimes to get past the gatekeeper, the estate agents, because we can't use Gumtree and some of these off-market websites type thing. We can use open rent, but it's not always, you don't know which landlord you're going to get. We normally go through a company because we have to protect ourselves and then protect yourselves as well, making sure that you're protected at all times, because we have to make sure it's all done properly and effectively, because it comes back on us overall. So we eventually found, after numerous phone calls, found an agent that was happy to work with us, happy to take the pets. We found an apartment. Jono, her husband, was working full-time 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. She was stuck in South Africa with the cats. He was stuck over here. He couldn't do anything. So we had to do it all virtual. It was like very complicated. But we found this property. It never hit the market. It was off market. So no one else ever got to see it. They were very loyal to us and very good with us. We got on very well. We have to really, really get on with that estate agent, because we have to sell the dream as to why we should rent to you, when they've got like 20, 30, 40, 50 people coming after each property. There's the stock levels are so low. We have that as soon as they put it onto the internet, as they do, because a little bit lazy. I had one of my favorite quotes from last year is Andre, and he said to me, "Mark, just ask me a question. How do you get an estate agent to email me back in South Africa?" And Andrew's laughing because they don't email anybody back. No one
back now.
Too easy for them. So we have to chase, we have to phone, we have to push, we have to squeeze, we have to stretch them and push them more than they've ever been before. And we have to be careful how we phrase it. We push them too far, it's the wrong thing. If one of the clients online now were to phone up and ask the questions that we did, they'd be seen as over aggressive probably, or arrogant, and the phone would be put down and they just wouldn't be dealt with. They wouldn't deal with us at all. But we have to persevere and pursue and keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. So with Michelle, it was great, because that first challenge to get 7 indoor cats was like unbelievable. We've got pretty much a brand new apartment that would hold the whole head lease, took pets as well, close to train station, on the end of the tube line as well in London. It was fantastic, really fantastic. And the agent was very, very good. Didn't need to be, but we got on very well with them. Really had to work hard to get it. The other person I wanted to speak about, and this happened Friday last week. So I had a couple looking in Portsmouth, south of the country, but on the coast. And they had a Jack Russell, just a small dog, not a big dog. And we've been looking since November. So 3 months worth of looking. And we found this property, and on the front page of the description, as you see on all these things, sorry, no pets, block, bold capitals, sorry, no pets. Now, when I see that, as Andrew sees, we probably see that as a challenge, not as an instruction. So I phoned the agent because it was a great property for them. I phoned the agent because I said, look, I've got somebody really keen. We're relocation agents. My client's in South Africa. They're not here yet. We have a school place at the school 3 blocks away. A best friend lives around the corner. My guy's has got an intercompany transfer. He's been with the company 17 years, so he's a great prospect for you. He's well within capacity with the referencing. He earns far more than he needs to be to pay for this property. He's got a small dog, that's fine. His wife's going to be working from home. Very, very keen. We can pay a little bit money up front if we have to, but we shouldn't have to, basically. I know you say no pets, but if you find a client who has no pets, but has 3 children, and just on capacity to take the property, who's the better bet? Please speak to your landlord. Put it in black and white, put it in writing, waited a day, came back the next day. We got it agreed. It was like the best present ever for the client and for me. It was great figure that we've managed to push someone over the edge like that. And we do it a lot, and we don't always win. Sometimes it can be the first house we view, we get an offer agreed on. Sometimes it can be the 5th house, but we just have to keep pushing, and just something may come back to the market. So they're eventually going to move in, I think, on the 19th of February. They come here on the 14th. So within 5 days, they'll be settled in the property, and they were getting just a little bit stressed, as most people would be coming from another country, as it were. So really, really pleased. That will come out in a review very, very shortly. But I just wanted to share both those reviews with you, because there's so much that's impossible to say what we do, how we do it. But the next process will be the pet travel. That's for another day now, as we know. But there's so much that we can't say how we actually do. But this is our job. We're not a painter. We're not an architect. We're not an accountant or whatever. Everybody does their own job. We're not a marketeer. But we all have our own sort of ways of doing it. But Andrew, over to you, because you've got a couple of good reviews there as well.
Yeah, just I suppose we're not wanting to put a downer on like the pressure and the popularity of the market at the minute. It's, I suppose, some key things to take away are to prepare early. So Linnea was one of my clients who, she came over with her 2 kids, 2 dogs. They let me know 3-4 months in advance. So basically I knew this. They were coming in November. I knew this in July. So I was making not calls, but just I was explaining that, yeah, this family's coming, great family, a bit like Mark explained earlier. Obviously different family, but with that 3-4 month lead time, you've then got time for the agents to kind of give you a bit of notice of ones that will accept pets, or they can actively search for you for ones that will accept pets when they're not. Yeah. Another thing is pet CVs are really helpful. So you're almost selling yourself and selling your pet. So for me, if I have a client briefing call, I will kind of make a detailed brief about yourselves. But if you're coming with pets, I'll also ask for the cutest picture of your cat, dog, rabbit, whatever it is, along with a pet CV. And if you can get a pet reference from a previous landlord, that kind of ticks a lot of the boxes to convince the agent to say, oh, it's no pets, until you present this picture of who's moving and what the pet is and how well behaved the pet is. Because I've got a 4 and a 1-year-old, and my 1-year-old probably makes more mess than a pet ever does. So, but they can discriminate about pets, not discriminate about children. So
some do as well, actually.
Yeah. So that's I suppose the key tips are to prepare early. If you're unable to make the calls from South Africa or make contact with agents from South Africa because they're not responding, we're more than happy to help. Or if you've got friends or family, they can help in the UK. Have that pet CV, have your CV, and send that to the agent so they've got a picture of who you are and who the pet is even before you arrive. Yeah, they're kind of the top tips, I would say, and that's what the main things me and Mark use, other than the relationships we've built over the years and the trust we've built. They're the 2 main key things I get. I'll use these pet CVs, property CVs, and I'll prepare early so I can give the agents plenty of notice, because the agents will sometimes be dictated by the landlords, will say no pets, but from time to time the agents can fight your battle for you if you know you're a good client. So yeah, they would be my tips, I suppose. Of course, any questions are welcome in the chat room. Mine and Mark's details are on there as well. So if there's anything specific, if it's not about pets or property or anything about areas, happy to answer any questions on as well. So
I think you're right, Andrew, about the relationships as well that we built up, because we've all been doing it for a long, long time, and that makes such a difference. I've had people before where the agents made a mistake and they should have charged us 6 months up front, and we've managed to get it paid monthly because it's their fault, and we can push them on that, lean on them for that. But we kind of, it's a fine balance between they trying to be our friends and we're trying to be friendly with them. They don't have our clients and we don't have their landlords. So it's kind of a mixture of trying to sort of like that we get on together, but we're working for the applicants, the tenants, which is always trying to push water uphill for some people with pets is harder, as we all know, for all these reasons. But there's lots of advantages of what we can do for you. So this is what we do every day. But yeah, any questions? Welcome, please.
I'll just say you will notice some agents will, so the rent may be £1,000. They will say we will accept pets if you're willing to pay £1,100. So effectively you're paying £100 extra per month for your pet, which in my mind is very unfair. But the agents are contracted by the landlord to get the best price. So don't be surprised if emailing or phoning you get that response, because we will get that and then we'll negotiate normally on that after we have done the viewing. Sorry, that was just a little add-on. So yeah, any questions are welcome in particular.
We do have one. Yeah. Dean. Yeah.
Are you muted?
I don't think so. We can't hear. Oh, he's right. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Hey, Dean.
Oh, did we lose?
He's trying.
I think we lost him.
No, he's there.
Oh, there he is. Oh.
There's a chat if the microphone's not working.
Yeah.
Or Mark's quite good at lip reading, if you prefer.
Can you put it in the chat, Dean?
Hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, it's okay. So I guess these things are probably broken now. Anyway, yeah, thanks so much for having the webinar. Sorry if I'm leaning forward, speaking into the microphone here and the laptop. Okay. So yeah, so look, I think we're still one step behind where we've got to get our pets overseas, and everything about our move requires us to sell our house. So the equity of which we can, obviously get the capital and everything else like that to move us when we sell this house. And so there's just a little bit of fixing up that we've got to do. We don't want to sell it like what we say in South Africa, voetstoets. In other words, we don't want to sell it as is.
Yeah, okay.
Because the thing is that, we want to do it's just really just minor repairs, and that we've just had some heavy rain, December, January, and even now still in February. But, when people walk into the house and they can see that it's been well looked after, that presentation just makes it a whole lot easier to sell, and obviously, hopefully to attract the attention of a good buyer. But if they come in and, we've got a little bit of water damage on our cornices, like in the corner of the roofs and whatever else like that. We haven't been able to waterproof because we need 48 hours of at least dry weather.
Yeah.
And although we do get sometimes dry weather, there's just intermittent drizzles and whatever else like that. So yeah, so we're just getting ourselves around that, and then obviously just to get our dogs, we wanted to bring our Swiss Shepherd, our German Shepherd, and our Jack Russell over. you know, just getting them overseas, you know, we're still working on that, because there are a lot of agencies that are really milking it. And, you know, where they're charging hundreds and thousands of rands, which is like completely unnecessary. You know, there's so many better ways of making money than committing daylight robbery. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And recently, you know, you were speaking about a dog CV. So, you know, one of the reasons why we also wanted to bring our dogs is that we've invested a lot of training in them. Now, I'm not saying they, you know, they're like, you know, they all like A+ students or whatever else like that. You know, they certainly have their moments, but we invest in courses. And then one of the courses that Charlene, my wife, did is she did a man trailing course, which was a scent detection course as well. And the guy that was heading that up, he's had quite a bit of experience helping people relocate their pets. And that, although he doesn't do that anymore, because he now works very closely with certain anti-crime units. And I'm sure, as you know, here in South Africa, that's pretty big business. So his dogs do a lot of work all the time, searching for hijackers and all kinds of criminals and that. But he was saying that one of the biggest rip-offs that some of these agencies, how they catch people is, so your dog's got to be transported, you know, flown by in particular crate. And there's a specification for that crate.
Is there 4 different measurements they need or something? Is that right?
Yeah. So now, if the crate only needs to be big, needs to be like 1 meter by 1 meter. Let's say you've got like, you know, a small to medium sized dog.
Yeah.
That's the measurements that you would give them. But what they go and do is, because you never see the crate, is that they go make the crate 1.2 by 1.5, so they can get a little bit of extra money or whatever else like that. And he said that he himself, he's done a number of. It's a long story how he's done it. It's quite fascinating, because he's worked with military, that he's even worked with British military or something. Okay. But he was saying that a number of some of his volunteers, they had their dogs transported over to the UK, and he was on the other side, you know, I don't know where it was, customs, the airport and whatever else like that. And he says, and, you know, these dogs are Belgian Malinois and Dutch Shepherds and German Shepherds and whatever else like that. You know, some of them weighing like a maximum of maybe about 55 kilos. That's about the heaviest. But these crates with the size of like, you know, like you could swear they were transporting rhinoceros or something like that.
Really?
So yeah, no, he said then that's when he picked up, that's when he realized that's, you know, these agencies, they really, excuse my language, I do beg your pardon. Sorry, Shanti, like they really screw people over, like in a big way. So that's our biggest concern this side here, you know. And so we've sort of undertaken a task maybe to see how we can do it on our own, which is definitely not easy. But so far what we've worked out is that we're saving ourselves like, okay, 70,000 rand. Sure, it doesn't really translate much into pounds.
And that's £3,500, still $3 grand. A lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, £3,500. I mean, you know, 3,500 rand, yeah, is a lot of money. So I don't know what 3,500 pounds is like over there. You know, a lot of money. It's not. I'm not sure. Yeah. So anyway, so we sort of like, so we stuck with that challenge. You know, that's the dilemma that we have. Yeah. But I mean, our biggest thing now is, sorry, and I'm coming to my question. Sorry. Speaking of which, I've just actually come out of surgery.
Oh.
Yeah, German Shepherd. So she's been here and she's crying a little bit, and then I bumped her with my chair.
Yes.
So anyway, we're wanting to move to Wales, and I think what my wife and I are what we're wanting to work out is, you know, and I don't know if you can really give me some advice on this and that, because I mean, obviously it's determined by the circumstances or the situation that we find ourselves at the time closer to wanting to immigrate. But you know, we're considering we kennel our dogs here for maybe about a month or 2 or whatever. Like we don't really want to go longer than 2 months or 60 days. It does have quite an effect on the animal, especially if you do have working dogs like Belgian Malinois and Dutch Shepherds and German Shepherds and Swiss Shepherds and that they go a little bit, you know, dippy. So we're wondering if we should, you know, get over into the UK. Maybe that's the most important thing. Get into Wales and so on like that. You know, look for a place. I know it sounds logical, but you know, our best case scenario would be that we all go, pets and all of us, we all go at the same time And I know that it would be impossible that, okay, the moment we land there, we know we're just going to be driving to our new house. That's not likely going to happen. But if we were, say, okay, best case scenario, we all go. My family and our dogs, we're on the same plane, and we land in the UK. I mean, because I don't think we're going to land in Wales, we will land in the UK. So we still got to make our way to Wales. Our biggest issue would be, okay, we might not have a place as of yet. So then, what do we do then? Then to avoid that situation, we're thinking of, as I said, as a plan B. We have the dogs kenneled here. We fly to the UK, we find a place, and then we bring the dogs over. The only thing is that we haven't done sort of like as an exercise, we haven't worked out the cost of that. So what I would like to know from you guys, what would your advice be in that regards? Which would be the best route that we could take? Which is the most favorable?
I think I'll just jump in quickly, Andrew, on this one, but
yeah.
I've spoken to numerous pet travel people, and that's going to be plan B of our webinar as well, to be fair, and several people, because we want to try and partner with people in another country, and lots from South Africa we deal with, as you know, and from England, because some people want to use the exit country, some people want to use the entry country to deal with, and it's your choice, but it's good to have prices from everybody just to see what who's ripping you off, who isn't ripping you off. So we've got still some from South Africa to come back to me. There was a lady in London I'm dealing with who set up the Virgin Pet Travel Company, basically their transport logistics. She was in compliance. The first pet she ever flew for her own company she set up a year ago was Richard Branson's. So she's got quite a good CV. The third pet she flew was his son's. So she's got a really good CV. So I'll get her to have a chat with you, speak to South African people as well, get to a couple of quotes for both sides, just to see. I heard about the 4 dimensions of the crates. That's why I read up on some of this as well. So I knew there was a dimension size. I don't know how it works, obviously, or those costs, because I'll get them to speak with you. And I know you're trying to get your house sold as well, because we've spoken in the past, haven't you? I think you're trying to get over for the Grand Prix, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I want to, yeah.
If we can, it'd be nice, but whatever, anyway. But
yes.
Obviously with the house, if you work from the house kind of backwards, then if it can all be done, there's so many logistics that we all know that you guys have to deal with coming from another country. Shanti's moved. I moved Shanti a year and a half ago now, and there's so many logistics to do it without pets. You had a child and a husband, obviously, but there's so much to do. But if you try and get your house sorted first, obviously, because that's going to be the big driver, from that you can then work all the other things backwards or forwards, however you want to phrase it. But in the meantime, get prices and sort of work out logistics, how the others work, and have a rough plan. You could be flexible with it, and you can get sort of quotes on containers and sort of, whether you need a 20-yard, 40-yard container, whether you bring your furniture or not. There's so many different things to do. Visa applications, as you know, is just so much to do. We're happy to try and assist and help wherever possible with people that we know or we partner with. As such, we try to recommend people that we've known or dealt with, rather than just recommending anybody. We don't get kickbacks from anybody at all. We just pass business to people and pass them back again if they know to us. But we try to use people that we know have been used before. So as far as selling your house, I can't help with that over there. Obviously, you'd know the local people to deal with, and when it stops raining, I'm sure then you can do something then. But there's lots of different people doing the pet travel. I'm keen for you to speak to this lady that I mentioned about, the ex-Virgin lady.
Great, yeah,
really great. I'll get her to speak with you. I'll get to speak to you directly, and then you just compare with her. She will know exactly. She might know the company. She probably does know the companies you're talking to, and can answer a question. But it's some people. Like I say, your dogs are leaving SA, so you know that company, but then they're coming into another company. So which one do you go with? It's hard, isn't it? You can't have the same.
That's true.
Or they
partner
and help people. So there's going to be lots of different situations like that. But I'll definitely get her. I think I've got your email details, Dean, have I? I think
so, yes.
Yeah.
So I also think that Facebook is a tool that needs to be used or leveraged. And there is a UK Relocate Facebook page. Mark, we could post it in your Facebook page. I have noticed some people connecting with each other supporting each other and sharing advice with what they need, what they're going through. And it's a free resource. And I mean, Facebook is Facebook. You have to be smart enough to figure out what is useful for you. But it's a free tool that's available. And so I reckon that you take a look at that group, join it, and post your questions. Talk to people who went through this. I moved from the US to here without a pet, but I moved in a lockdown. I shared my advice with people, you know, moving in a lockdown, not viewing a flat. Mark did everything on our behalf. So I think connecting with people who have gone through it is the best. Talk to them before you speak with a company or anything like that. And it'll take a lot of work. It'll take a lot of data gathering, deciphering what works, what makes sense. And you have to filter things out, you know, and sort it out. But I think that you want to connect with people who have gone through this. Don't even talk about price, just talk about experience, talk about customer service, talk about how they felt. Would they use that company again? Because really, to be fair, I bet there is no price tag you can put to getting your dogs here, right? So that's probably the last. There's also the affordability factor, but you do want to make sure that the dogs get here lovingly, safely. And so yeah, I think that you should connect with some people on Facebook and talk about their experience. Yeah.
There was one lady, I had a briefing call last week. Now, she wasn't moving from South Africa. She was moving from Hong Kong. And it wasn't it wasn't dogs, it was 4 cats. But she brought them in through Paris and brought them in through the Channel Tunnel. And I didn't ask because I wasn't looking after the pet relocation side. But there's obviously a reason why she did that, and I imagine it's cost. So basically, she flew them from Hong Kong to Paris, and she arranged for a pet sitter to pick them up from Paris and bring them through the tunnel.
Yeah.
So,
but I know we do. We said we could talk about pets all night long when we planned this webinar. That's why we broke it into 2. If we may, I know Mark has Dean's contact and can connect with him outside of this webinar and help him. But we have Elaine who has raised her hand for a question, feedback. Elaine, and you're on mute.
Elaine? Can you hear us, Elaine? Can you hear us, Elaine? Sure. I'll go back to Dean quickly. I know some of the groups that you're on, Dean, with networking groups and SAFA groups. There's some great people in there, as you know, great people that give great advice. They've lived here, they've been here before and tried to test it. So just, soak up all the experiences that people can tell you, look through Facebook, and everybody has a different level of, you know, dealing with things and logistics. Some people are ultra organized, some people not as organized, but prefer to do it this way, that way, etc. But you got some, like, I've seen some of your contacts, you got some really good people to lean on and talk to there, because they're not, I'm English, so I'm receiving everybody into an England for the last 14 years.
Hello?
Hi, Elaine, you're back in the room.
Yeah, sorry. I just had to figure out how to unmute.
That's okay, far away.
Okay, basically I wanted to just say to Dean that we've done a lot of research into moving our animals over. And we've probably been in contact with about 5 companies, a few of them that have been recommended to us. And we have actually found a company called Flying Animals. They deal in domestic and wild animals as well. they came in at a very, very reasonable price.
Okay. Flying animals. Just written
They,
that down.
where are you based?
So we live in the suburb of Velterveld Park, which is Rudaput Randburg side. That's Gauteng.
Okay, we're in Sunwood Park in Boksburg, and these people are in Kempton near the airport.
Oh, okay.
It might be worth your while to give them a shot, because we were quoted at one stage 85,000 to move ours, and through flying animals with all the vet clearance, and the vet, you know, whatever they have to have 2 or 3 days beforehand.
Yes.
State vet. It comes to about 36,000.
Sure. And for how many animals was that?
That was for 2 dogs and a cat.
Wow. Sure.
It's a huge difference. A huge difference.
Wow.
They also supply crates, but you have to give measurements of the animals, and they give you. You can collect the crates, or they will deliver them to you beforehand, so you can do crate training with the animals as well.
That's right. That's right. Wow.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it might be worth your while. We were going to go with AeroPets, who was very, very highly recommended, but we're looking at probably a difference of nearly 50,000.
Yeah,
Oh.
I heard so.
Dean, you can go on a holiday with that difference, yeah?
Totally. Geez, I definitely going to save quite a bit of money. But just you know, as I was reiterating my point, just as Elaine mentioned, so I had heard of AeroPets as well. Never heard of flying animals, but for that very reason, you know, there's definitely ways of making money. I mean, that's, you know, that's what we should be doing when you go into business. You want to make profit. But I mean, why milk it? Because, you know, you're taking advantage of people who don't know better, don't know the process. Yeah. You know, and I mean, as you were saying as well, Shanti, you know, you'll pay just about anything. But wow, that answers.
Look, I do know of one couple who sent their animals over with flying animals. And they seem to be very happy with them. When they first quoted us, it didn't include the visit to the state vet. And it's very, very difficult to get hold of the state vet.
Yep.
So I asked them about that, and they included 5,500, which means kenneling for 3 days before the animals fly, all the state vet checks, and putting them on the plane. So that's included in the 36,000.
Wow. So Elaine, when are you and your family planning on immigrating now to the UK?
That's entirely up to Mark. It's his problem.
I was waiting for my come into that one.
Okay. So I mean, so obviously, you're going to take your dogs with flying animals, then I'm presuming.
At this stage, yes. I have written to them my last list of queries and double checking the prices and the boxes and things like that. But at this stage, we will use flying animals. And I wasn't in on the first part of the video Zoom message because I'm not very techno. Well, should I say I'm techno challenged, so it took a while to connect. But I do believe we have to pay the HARC fees when we get to the other side. And they have given me the names of 3 agents that we can contact as well.
Okay, so you said what they call HARC fees?
It stands for Heathrow Animal Rescue Centre, HARC.
Oh, HARC. Oh, okay.
So when you get to the airport, they have to clear the animals for you. I was also told you could fly them to Amsterdam and then drive them across, but I feel that is quite traumatic for them. And then another thing I was told is that they could fly to Manchester. But depending where you live, to get to Manchester and back, you know, with the animals in the crates and things, I just want the easiest and the most comfortable for them.
Yeah, you know, I think also one of the questions that I wanted to ask the group, and maybe Elaine, you might know. So obviously, one of our concerns is, you know, when our dogs land, all right. I mean, they would have been on a flight for, you know, over 10 hours and whatever else like that. It's quite a distressing experience, you know, for an animal.
Yeah.
You know, our animals haven't flown, you know, before in their lives and so on like that.
Yeah.
It's a distressing for a human being to sit on a plane for that long.
Yeah. And one of our concerns is, like, for example, so like our Swiss Shepherd, I mean, she's quite highly strung. So she's, when I say this, she's more bark than she is bite. She's not going to bite anymore. You know, she comes when she gets distressed and whatever like that, she barks incessantly and whatever else like that, and she should certainly show signs of distress. Our German Shepherd, you know, she's pretty laid back and whatever else like that, but you know, she can just be a little bit intimidating looking, because you know, she just gets this look on her face, especially if she thinks that you're a special kind, like a person is like a special kind of stupid. She doesn't really seem to take to stupid people, and it's a long story, but she's just really got this look about herself, like, you know, like, if, you know, like as if she was a human, she'd be like, you know, must I give you a smack, you know, do you want to clap, you know? So we've got these images in our minds that, you know, like, and our Jack Russell, I mean, he's just a four-legged piranha at the best of times, you know what I'm saying? But he's also not like vicious. I mean, you know, even if he bites or whatever else like that, it's definitely not going to cause, like, you know, grievous bodily harm or whatever. But we are concerned as to how they assess a dog once it lands, because obviously, you know, we're not going to get to see our dog. We're not going to be able to jump off the plane and go to the crate or go to the loading bay and whatever else like that. So if you were saying, you know, the hawk fees and whatever else like that, you know, we are really concerned that they're going to go, oh geez, like, you know, these dogs are lunatics. Oh no, we need to send them back, or we need to, like, send them to the NSPCA or whatever else like that. You know, that's just kind of like,
from what I've researched and what I've seen on videos and things like that, is happy animals coming out of their crates and greeting mommy and daddy.
okay.
We also have the problem that our three are all rescues. I haven't yet seen anybody's video of the animals being totally distressed. It's going to take time for them to settle. We acknowledge that. Yeah. But that is why, you know, Mark is going to find us somewhere that we can go straight to our home and settle them and things like that.
Okay.
Just beware, Mark. I'm promoting you very much now.
I can see the broad shoulders. Look, I need them.
No pressure at all. But I do understand it takes like it could take 5 to 6 hours to clear the animals. So I don't think you should go there expecting miracles. And I think you should make contact with your clearing agent before you go. I know Flying Animals gave us 3 options, and they did recommend one, but I haven't actually gone into that just yet.
I see. And as you said, Mark, you know a lady that
exactly she
does something for Virgin Airlines or something.
Absolutely. So they probably know of each other, and again, I can put people in contact and let you decide how you want to go with it.
Yeah, Mark, can you let me have her details as well, please?
Of course, yeah.
Thank you.
Elaine, thank you so much for that. That was
that's
really
fantastic.
That's really just lifted my spirits. So really,
look, I just feel, as I say, 85,000 to 36,000 or something like that. It's ludicrous. We pensioners, so you know, every sort of penny counts. But I do want to ensure that my animals are safe and secure and have a comfortable bed. And I don't think there's any frills with these people. You know, like I said to them, what about the absorbent mat? And they said you can go and buy puppy nappies and put it in the crate.
Yes, I heard that as well. Yes, that's
You
right.
get that you get those in pet shops. You just buy the puppy nappies, and then you put your blanket and everything in with it.
I was actually wondering
it's a no frills thing, but it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's funny that you should say that, because we were actually thinking, you know, these absorbent mats is part of the specification, or there's the crate has to be built to a particular compliance and whatever else like that. And we were thinking, you know, now, do you have to have an absorbent mat, you know, or can you have something as long as that it's absorbent, you know? So that's great. That's really, really, it's really, really great news. It's really, really refreshing and quite reassuring.
When are you planning to go?
So look, I mean, if I say this year, that I know that sounds really, really vague, but we've just got these sort of minor sort of touch-ups that we need to do on the house, and they're critical in it, because we have got some water damage that's happened to some of the cornices of the roof net, because it was leaking from above. And you know, on some of the days where it's been dry, I suppose, where I could have done the waterproofing, I wasn't able to. I was working. But for the majority, I mean, I don't know what it's been like in the East Rand, but here at Walterford Parkside, you know, even on a dry day, there's still a little bit of drizzling. But the waterproofing that we're going to do is quite extensive, and it's going to need at least 48 hours of dry weather to set. So we're just dealing with that challenge. Once we get that, because we want to paint the inside of the house as well, but there's no point in painting it if the water's going to be running down from the skirting and then from the roof. And I mean, you know, that's it. I think that's, you know, that'll be it. So, you know, we pray to God that at least probably by no later than, like, say, what I mean, like June, July or whatever else like it, because you know, some of our friends said, look, get you in summer, you know, get to the UK in summer. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you to be wandering around finding places and so on like that, and probably a bit easier.
Oh, that's why you have Mark.
Yes, there we go, Mark. There we go. On the spot again.
That is why we have Mark. I mean, he's the best thing since bubblegum, I promise you.
That is very good. It's better than the best thing since sliced bread, because that's
I'm not had the
bubblegum. Best thing since bubblegum. That's good. I'm going to use that. I'll quote it by Elaine.
Basically, our future is in his hands right now. And no pressure.
I may need some help, Andrew. You can help me.
So maybe it sounds like Elaine's experience with the research she's done so far with flying animals. Mark, it may worth some of our research time to see if we can get them to come on and talk about. Perfect. You know, it may be a long shot, but we don't know. Yeah. So I think we can follow up and do some homework on them and see if we can invite them to the second phase 2 of the pet relocation webinar. Absolutely. And even if it takes a little bit of time out, it takes 4 to 6 weeks. We can communicate that with our participants tonight. Exactly. But we are closing in on the hour mark, and I think that it's been great. And I love that we have participants who are sharing their experience and their resources with others. And this is the value in this free webinar, where we're here to share information and to share our experiences. And I think
it's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely on my side as well. Thank you, all of you.
Cool. So I think that the priority would be to do the phase 2 of this pet webinar, but stay tuned. It could be jobs and visa, I think could be the next topic that we discuss, and then get to pets and webinar. But regardless of what's next on the agenda for our webinar, Mark and Andrew are 2 amazing resources and very responsive. And so feel free to reach out to both of them with questions, concerns, follow up. And if they don't have the answer, they'll know where to help to direct you for it. So with that,
thank you.
I'll leave it to Mark to give any closing remark, but I think this was really great.
It was great. Elaine and Dean, appreciate you guys sharing with each other, because within one message, you've gone from 85,000 rand to 36,000.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
Because it has to make a profit in business, but you've got to just, as long as you get offer value for money. If the one at 36,000 hadn't had a good reference, it wouldn't be utilized, but it's had a good reference. So, and great that you guys can talk to each other. There's a whole point us to try and talk is that people just share, and the WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups are there to share, and it's just trying to pick. So great, fantastic. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you hopefully in a month's time, or if we speak before, if not.
And
thank you very much.
Just so
thank you. Good night.
I think also the other webinars, if you ever need access to the other webinars, if you've missed it, they're also available. The recordings are also available. So
great.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Lovely.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, everyone.
Take care. Yeah. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
You might be so